Hi, we are in a new location because I went home for the break. Um, so yeah, the lighting situation in my room at my parents' house is really weird. But welcome to another review. Hopefully, I checked it, so the audio shouldn't be hot garbage in this video. Unfortunately, like pretty much all the previous videos, which made me so mad. But I just uploaded them anyways because I was like, I can't re-record them because they wouldn't feel as natural and as rambly if I did. But today is Monday, December 15th, and yesterday on Sunday, I went and saw the 1995 Sense and Sensibility movie, which is incredibly difficult to say, in theaters for its 30th anniversary. So this is not the first time I've seen this movie. I grew up in a Jane Austen loving household. My mom loves Jane Austen. Both of my older sisters love Jane Austen. I grew up reading Jane Austen and watching a lot of Jane Austen movies. I was the one that informed everybody that Sense and Sensibility was going to get back into theaters for its 30th anniversary. So, of course, we're all like, well, we have to go and see it because me and my oldest sister and my mom went and saw the 2005 Pride and Prejudice movie when it was in theaters back in, what was that, April or May? I think it was May. I don't remember. It was April or May. And the vibes for that were immaculate. Seeing a movie that I loved so much as a kid with a bunch of Jane Austen fans in movie theater was so fun. And this was the same way. My other sister did not see Pride and Prejudice with us, so she was not expecting the absolute total fun, entertaining vibes of just a bunch of Jane Austen fans watching a Jane Austen movie together. So like, we totally she thoroughly enjoyed that, and it was really fun. So yeah, like I've seen the 1995 Sense and Sensibility movie a lot of times, just a ton of times. But I've never seen it in theaters. I was not alive when this movie came out. So I never saw it in theaters. And so it was really fun to see it in that sort of format and stuff like that because I've watched it at home so many times, but I've never gone to a movie theater to see it and have that experience and stuff like that. So that was really fun. It's also been a couple years since I've seen the movie because I think the last time I saw it was maybe like 3-4 years ago. So it was really fun to like watch it again and have like a new perspective on things because the last time I watched it, I had a very like new perspective on certain acting qualities and stuff like that because the acting in this movie is amazing. I mean, Emma Thompson is fantastic in this film as Eleanor, and I absolutely love her as Eleanor. Or the last time I watched it, I, as a person who grew up watching Harry Potter, have only really ever seen Alan Rickman play like a quote unquote villain, like a like seedy main like evil character in a way. Um, with your debates about Severus Snape aside, if you have those. So then watching him play Colonel Brandon in this movie, especially when Marianne is sick and he essentially is like, please give me something to do or I'm going to go insane. Like the absolute like painful longing that he has for Marianne, but also like the accepted longing, like especially when she falls in love with Willoughby and he sort of like accepts it. He's like, I love her, but like I will let her be happy with this shitty man if it will make her happy. So I did really like that the last time I saw it because I was like, wow, he's such a good actor who's got all these, I don't know. I mean, he's great as Snape, but like I feel like you don't get a similar level of like range as you do in Sense and Sensibility. So that this time around, which I think worked for the actor, which was I noticed that Hugh Grant looks constipated in every single scene that he's in, which I think works for Edward as a character. But I found it so funny. Like every time he walks in, he looks like so like tied up and like aching shoulders and like super awkward everywhere. And I'm like, he just looks like he needs to take a shit in every single scene. And I couldn't stop laughing because of it, but it was like so entertaining. It was like a weird thing that I hyperfixated on while watching this movie. I was like, he looks so constipated in every single scene, but he's also just so socially awkward, which I get. Like, I am the same way. So I'm like, nah, I understand it completely. Um, But I really like this movie. I mean, I've seen it before, so it's just I don't know where this rambling review is gonna go because I like it. I've So there's not much to add on there. I think it's just like the new added experience of seeing it in a theater, which I've never seen like had before and stuff like that, and like getting to like listen to the soundtrack in a theater and like getting to watch like the amazing acting. Like there is a fantastic acting in this movie. Like everyone does a really good job, and like things that I have the cast pulled up like I always do, but like things that like I noticed this time around that like I never really noticed before and stuff like that. Like one thing that I didn't notice before, and I think that was because like the vibes of everybody laughing at it at the same time, which was the scene at the end, where Edward comes to visit the Dashwoods, and they're like all sitting. Well, so Eleanor and Margaret and Mrs. Dashwood are sitting outside, and then Marianne's playing the piano inside, but she has the window open. And they see the like guy on the horse, and at first they think it's Colonel Brandon. And then like Margaret sees that it's actually Edward, and they're all kind of like, stand up, go into the house, take the aprons off, and pretend like you were doing something more ladylike. Which I loved because it just kind of reminds me of the scene in the 2005 Pride and Prejudice movie where like Mr. Bingley comes to visit the Bennets, and like Mrs. Bennet loses her shit and she's like, clean everything up, get everything put together. And it just like, it was like the parallels of that, and it made me laugh so hard. It was just so funny that they're like a less chaotic version of the Bennets in a lot of scenes, and I really liked that about it. I was just like, it was just so funny and stuff like that, and I absolutely loved it. But there was that, um and stuff like that. Or Hugh Laurie as Mr. Palmer is like so good, like every single time, because it's so funny because like his interactions um with his wife are just hilarious. Like I love it so much because like Imelda Staunton as Charlotte Palmer is just so like, I mean it's a whole, she does a great job of playing that character because she's always like happy go lucky, very much like her mother in that way, and like Mrs. Jennings in that way, where it's just like they're very like loud and they joke a lot, and like it's very over the top joking that's like borderline like getting into people's noses and stuff like that. And then Mr. Palmer, like half the time she'd be like, or like Charlotte would be like, oh stop, and then Mr. Palmer would be like, you stop, or he's like he's so sarcastic and I love it. But then there are the scenes with Eleanor and Mr. Palmer, where he's very like, he's less of a sarcastic, done with everybody shit human being, and he's like actually genuinely nice. And like we were talking in the car ride, and I don't remember, one of my sisters was like, I think Hugh Laurie was like playing it as if like he's in love with Eleanor, and I think a couple of us were like, no, I think they're just the only two sane human beings in this movie. And they have that understanding and stuff like that. And it's just like, it's so fun. I love Hugh Laurie as Mr. Palmer. It's just so funny and stuff like that. And then it's just, I mean, it's just the dynamics between the characters. It's such a sister movie too. Like the dynamics between all three sisters is great. Like as a person with two older sisters, like I was like, yes, we do act like that and stuff like that. Or it's like, I feel bad for Eleanor throughout the whole movie though, because she very much is like the one actually in charge of the household. Like as much as Mrs. Dashwood could be in charge, it's like Eleanor was the one like addressing to the servants about what was going to happen when like changing of the house like occurred, and like she was the one being realistic about like where they could afford to live and like where they couldn't and stuff like that. And like, yes, she keeps everything to herself, but like she feels like she has to because everyone else is so emotional and vocal that it's like, I mean, Marianne is very passionate, and Mrs. Dashwood is the same way. They're two very passionate human beings. Like Marianne like believes in true love to a fault. And Eleanor is a little bit more realistic, where she's like, yes, she's in love with Edward, but she also understands that she could probably never be with him. Like one because of his mother, and then two because of finding out that like Lucy Steele and Edward are engaged and stuff like that, and she's like upset about it, and like she very much wants to tell someone, but she also is like, I promised Lucy that I wouldn't, and like she doesn't want to like hurt anybody else's confidence because of that, and like it's I like her for that. Like she very much like, you can sort of see like Emma Thompson does a really good way of like showing the inner turmoil that she's going through without like outwardly expressing it, which I absolutely love. And then like in relation to like Marianne, who like spends half the movie crying because she's like upset over Willoughby and stuff like that, and just sort of like she's very vocal about her opinions where they're like, Colonel Brandon really likes you, and she's like, yeah, but he's also hella old. So like it's just things like that where she's like, or Marianne's like issues with Edward, where it's like both Eleanor and Edward are not very vocal about their own opinions, and so, or their own opinions and feelings, and Marianne is very much the same way. Well, no, she's not the same way, where she's like, that's her issue, is that she wants those Shakespeare sonnet type of love where it's like yearning, or I think at one point she like compares that she like wants a love life compared to like Juliet and Romeo and Juliet, and her mother's like, yeah, but Juliet killed herself, and she's like, but it was for love. And so I think that's where it's like, the two different dynamics of the sisters, where it's like one sort of keeps to herself and is very much like a little bit more realistic when it comes to love, especially during the time period, and the other one is like, I want the true love, which is why I think like she doesn't sort of realize Colonel Brandon, like she knows that Colonel Brandon like loves her, but in a way, like Marianne chooses to ignore it because she's so obsessed with Willoughby. Because like Willoughby was like the Prince Charming who went and saved her when she twisted her ankle. Um, but then she sort of like changes perspective on that when like Colonel Brandon like brings her in during the rainstorm later in the movie and like helps like take care of her and stuff like that, and I like that's where it comes from, where she like starts to like him and stuff like that. um and just sort of that where she's like, or like he's sitting and reading her sonnets now while she, and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, she's like switched perspectives and things like that. But she does spend the whole time, and I think they all do, like the whole time sort of like dismissing Willoughby a bit. Like she doesn't entirely blame him, which like, yeah, he was in love with her, but like, as she stated, clearly not enough, because he still chose money over her. So I really like this movie. I was there for the vibes. I was like zoned into the plot and the vibes, so I wasn't paying too attention to like anything like production wise and stuff like that, which is fine. Like I was just having fun. So it was just really fun to see that movie in theaters when I had never had that experience before. And I think that's where I really know, especially this year, where like we're bringing movies back to theaters for anniversaries. So like I got to see like Revenge of the Sith in theaters for the first time. I got to see Pride and Prejudice 2005 in the theaters for the first time. I got to see Sense and Sensibility in the theaters for the first time. Like next year, like in 2026, I know that they're bringing I think like all the Lord of the Rings movies back in theaters, and I would love to see those movies in theaters for the first time, because I love Lord of the Rings and I've never seen it in theaters before. The only movies that I've like Lord of the Rings movies that I've seen in theaters are like the first two Hobbit movies and the War of the Rohirrim. So like I would love to see Lord of the Rings in theaters, and I do really like that we've like, and I mean they've been doing it for a while now, because I think it started like right before COVID, of like bringing movies back in theaters for anniversaries, but I am really happy that like they're starting to do it again, because it's like it's so cool to like be able to watch movies that I absolutely love in the theaters again, and have that experience. But it's like things like that where it's like getting to see like older movies in theaters again, and getting to experience that and like what it was like, because it's like I would love to see all the Star Wars movies in theaters, especially after watching Revenge of the Sith. I was like, this was so fun. Like, I would love to do that again. It's like I would love to see Lord of the Rings in theaters. Like, I would love to see all these movies in theaters again, because I never got to have that experience because I was a baby or non-existent when those movies came out. So it's really, really fun to get to have that experience and like just get to see them, especially with people who are fans. Like, the thing about saying like Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility in theaters was that like it was just a bunch of Jane Austen fans, and we were just having so much fun. Like, we're all laughing at the same points. Like, we all get what's hilarious about these and stuff like that. Like, it's just a whole bunch of Jane Austen fans sitting in a theater watching a silly Jane Austen movie and stuff like that. And I like loved it for that. I was like, I'm having so much fun. I was just there for the vibes. Like, I wasn't, I'll be honest, I wasn't like paying too much attention to like anything out of the blue. It's like, here are the things that I kind of noticed that I never noticed before. And I'm like, it's been a minute, but yeah, so that was really fun. But I hope you liked my Sense and Sensibility ramblings. I hope that this audio is not utter trash garbage. Like, essentially, my previous, like, what, 5 videos or something like that. Um, so there's that. But yeah, I hope you liked this. Stay tuned for more reviews on other movies that are coming out soon and stuff like that. So, yeah, bye bye.